that story we were just discussing, the possible ban of TikTok in the US. We've got Ramesh Srinivasan back on the line. Good to have you back here, Ramesh. We were just discussing the content of TikTok as far as possible and what the percentage of pro-Palestinian versus pro-Israeli content seems to be on the platform.
Well, there's definitely more content that's critical of this this war and calling for a ceasefire on TikTok. But I think a lot of that, again, is a function of the nature of the user base, including in the United States. But mind you, Americans across the board, despite relative media censorship on this topic, do support a ceasefire and have for months, and certainly younger people do so as well. But I think we also have to look at lobbyist power in the U.S. You know, just a few weeks after parading Mark Zuckerberg in front of Congress and, kind of criticizing him for child safety issues, the policy that actually gets bipartisan support and actually emerges out of the House is one that singles out TikTok. So this is very telling about power and how it functions in the U.S. lobbyist power. And the feeling that many young people have that they're really that they're cut off from levers of having power and voice over this tragic situation.
So let's just say the move does go ahead to ban TikTok. I mean, we're a long way off it. It still needs to pass the Senate, get the president's signature, and even then TikTok can sell to a US company and remain as it is. But say none of that happens and TikTok is removed. Will young people lose a vital outlet for their feelings, for expressing their feelings and sharing them with others?
There's no question about it. It's a place where many young people are. So TikTok should be regulated, just like all social media and AI, for that matter, should be regulated to serve the public interest, to make sure we're actually talking with one another, to make sure we know what data is being gathered about us, and to make sure that the algorithms don't drive the most divisive or inflammatory content. But TikTok should be part of expansive digital rights legislation. And that's where we need to go. We can't be singling out a company based on scant evidence because it's Chinese owned. I mean, that doesn't get us anywhere on the real issues we need. So we ensure that our digital world supports real democracy and greater equity. And young people feel out of touch and cut off from all of this. And this is very important with the election coming up and both candidates being octogenarians who seem out of touch with younger people. And so, mind you, President Trump actually is not supporting this ban. And I think that's self-serving. He also did meet a lobbyist who has a strong amount of equity in TikTok. So we have to ask questions about who is reaching younger people and how they feel alienated and disenfranchised. And we need spaces for young people to feel they're part of our democracy, part of shaping our nation's policy and the world more generally.
So what do you think the future of TikTok in the US is?
Hard to know. We'll see what happens with the Senate. I mean, the vote was overwhelming in the House, so it's likely to pass the Senate, and President Biden says he's going to sign it. I'm hoping that if it does go through, it only goes to this point where it's an American that has to own TikTok. They have a big issue with Chinese, citizens owning it. Fair enough, but the issue is those who own and drive divisive content on social media and monetize outrage, monetize polarization. That is a terrible, terrible thing in a global society where we need to come together and really understand and talk to one another. So it is likely to pass the Senate. I'm hoping it won't, because I just think this is a red herring and it takes us very much in the wrong direction from where we need to be. We need to ensure that digital technologies serve business interests, but also serve all of our interests. We can't have a zero-sum situation when it comes to social media.
Ramesh, very pleased that we managed to get you back on the programme. Ramesh Srinivasan, thanks for joining us there from Mexico.
Thank you.